Good morning, it's Karen from Simply Living for Him. I'm here to do my daily encouragement video from God's Word. I hope that you find these videos to be a blessing in some way. If you do, I would love to hear from you. Share this video with a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I just wanted to remind you, I also have a paperback devotional available on Amazon if you are looking for something to help you get into the Word every single day to just stay focused in that time in the Word. I believe this is a great resource for you. So I've linked that in the video description as well. So as I look out my window today, it's early in the morning and we're still in the thick of winter. It's still very cold, although this week we are starting to get temperatures to get a little bit warmer so that the snow is actually melting. And that gives you a glimpse that the season is just starting to change. We're not quite to spring yet, but there's these little signs that there is change in the air. I've noticed in the morning that it gets lighter earlier, and I noticed in the evening that the sun is setting later. And that gives me hope for spring because I'm not a winter person. I don't like being cold. I don't like the dark, dark nights. I love being outside in the summer at nighttime till 9 o'clock. It stays light out. I love the early mornings where the sun rises really early. And so winter isn't my favorite, but there is a purpose for every season, and I do know that. And just like in our lives, life is always changing seasons. If you're in a season right now where you feel like it's just one trial after another, I want to encourage you today that it will not always be this way, that there are always seasons. As many, joyous, wonderful seasons we have equally amounts of seasons that are full of hardship or trial or struggle. That's just the way life is. But if you're in that trial season, you can be like me today, looking out the window and noticing that the snow is starting to melt, the sun is staying out longer, that there is hope, that this season is not forever. We can't hold on to seasons either. Often as moms, we kind of glorify that season of babyhood or toddlerhood. We kind of glorify those days, even though when we were in it, it was hard. But often we try to hold on to the baby years or hold on to the childhood years. I have a married daughter right now, and that's been hard to change seasons. We are in a brand new season. You want to hold on to the past, but when you do that, you're robbing the new season of all that it has. There's going to be gifts in every season, even the seasons of trial. For me, like I said, I don't like winter, but there's gifts in winter. There's beautiful gifts of a time of sort of hibernating, a time of sort of, rest, the beautiful snow. I mean, there are gifts in the winter. So we have to remember that every season has a purpose, even if it's not our favorite season. And we have to remember not to hold on to the ones that were our favorite season, because we are going to miss out on what God has for us in the next season. Whether it's a season of trial or a season of great joy, God has something for us in that season. And we must go with the seasons and embrace each season, and knowing that there is a purpose in each one. It says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting in verse 1, it says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." God created our lives to have seasons. He shows us that in his creation. He shows us that in the natural seasons that occur. And just like those natural seasons that occur, it parallels our lives. There is a time for everything. I remember when my daughter was born, and we were very strict with her napping schedule. And, we were doing all the things first-time parents did, and we were a little over the top strict about it. And she used to nap every single day at 1 o'clock. That time at 1 o'clock was sacred to me. It was like I had to have her home. I had to have her in her crib at 1 o'clock. And I remember one day I had to do something or go somewhere, and I guess one of our parents came to babysit, and I had to go out in the afternoon, maybe to an appointment or something, and I was out at 1 o'clock. And I remember thinking, the world actually goes on at 1 o'clock? Like, there's a whole world out here, because I was so set in my little bubble that at 1 o'clock it was nap time, and at 1 o'clock we were home. I was forgetting that there was a world out there existing at 1 o'clock. And I always remember that. And I say to myself, like, don't get so set in your ways that you are missing out on what's going on around you. And you know what? Just like that season that I thought was forever, that like we would always be, making sure we were on the schedule, and then, nap season ends and you go on to a new season. And like I said, now I look back and I remember saying, I can't imagine my daughter going to preschool and being away from me for 2 hours a day, twice a week. Well, now she lives 2 hours away, and she's married with her husband and her new life out there. So seasons change. Embrace the season that you're in, regardless of, how hard it is, because there's purpose in it. And God is in that season. God is in every season. Embrace the season you're in. Don't hold on to the seasons that came before. And trust that when you are in a difficult season, it's for a purpose. And God promises that seasons change. And so maybe this isn't a season of trial, but there is a season of joy to come. And if you're in a season of joy, enjoy it, because we can be promised that a season of trial is to come. So just looking at that today, looking at Ecclesiastes, putting things into perspective and remembering the seasons of life. They are inevitable, and we need to keep them in mind as we live each day. So I hope this encouraged you today. If it did, I would love to hear from you. Comment below, share this video with a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time. Until then, I wish you all the blessings and joy in Jesus today.